All right, continuing. All right, so my take before that, I touched my phone because I suck with technology. If traffic is blocking a fire truck, I think the fire truck should just be able to fucking ram them.
Yeah, but that's going to cause a pileup of people.
But
You know what I mean?
they're
That's-
responding to an emergency, so that might be where it's just, if someone's deliberately trying to block, I mean, I don't think that's the case here, but if someone's like trying to block a fire truck, then the fire truck should be able to just fucking ram them.
Yeah, but that's going to cause more emergencies, though.
Yeah, but it would be just, okay, yeah, we can agree to disagree on that one, but anyhow, yeah, like what we were saying before my fucking
Maybe
thing.
they should just, well, you know, the blueprint of all these cities are fucking screwed, and
Oh, they are.
that's one reason the roads are so unsafe in the first place. But just like on the interstate, I don't even think 18-wheelers and cars should be on the same fucking road. And maybe that's a case in point for that too.
Yeah.
Like a vehicle that big shouldn't even be on the same road. Maybe it would work more efficiently if they had their own little special side road.
How about
But
that?
like I'm saying, the layout of all the cities has gone far. They'd have to rearrange every
they
fucking
would, yeah.
thing.
And then of course, then you run the risk of cutting into animals, habitats, all that crap.
Well,
so it's a
I
balancing
do
act.
believe that Animal Crossing should exist. Every time I see a dead animal, I think to myself how fucking sick people are that we're killing animals for no reason and nobody cares.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, if it's roadkill, it was obviously an accident.
But this is why there should be crossings. Give them a way to go under or a
Or
way to
over.
go above.
They do that in
I
Canada.
don't think it's always an accident. I think these people say, look, a raccoon hit it. I think a lot of these fucking assholes are really like that.
Well, I don't think deer would be an example.
Well, that's only because it'll total your car. But it's not fair that we've cut away so much of their space that now we have deer trying to live in people's backyard.
Oh yeah, I fucking see 10 deer a fucking day.
Nobody cares. You see what I'm saying? They're not showing care for life itself. They're only showing care for their little shitty life.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think if money were no object, I'd probably invest in better recording equipment. But I'm just like, fuck it.
And
I'm
what?
not better like video recording.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm just like, you know what? I don't even give a shit.
I can't remember where I heard this quote, but it kind of made sense. I just heard it the other day, and it said, first buy the cheap one, and then if you break that one, you justify buying the better one. It kind of made sense.
Oh, this phone is a cheap phone. I only paid like $100 for it.
If you wear out the shitty one, then you've justified the good one.
Yeah, I mean, I have like an old school digital camera, but those things crap out too, And
I got nothing but my phone.
yep, and realistically, for most people, that's all they need. Now, if you're a professional videographer, yeah, okay, I'll buy that.
I'd have to have a team if I
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
went that route. You know what I mean? Because
Like-
I'm about the shit that
Yeah, exactly.
I'm about the content, not the fucking flash. And this is I need a fucking expert to say, okay, we need this kind of backdrop. And I don't even know if I'd get along with a motherfucker like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the obviously the successful ones, Logan Paul, Whistle and Diesel, they have staff that they have to pay to do the work. Whistle and Diesel, that's a good one.
I'm gonna get this shit down because I don't think I'm gonna need a whole lot of help, except for with the technology part.
Oh, me too. I'm not gonna lie.
I got all my own ideas. I don't need help with that.
Oh yeah, I'm fucking. You've seen I'm horrible with fucking tech. I'm fucking horrible. Like, I was trying to do live stream, and I'm like, okay, what the fuck does this do? And I'm just like, wait, am I seeing? I'm like, what the fuck? And then once I figured that out, I was just like, okay, this looks cool.
One day we gonna have a meet and greet, and you gonna walk around with that damn cup taped to your face.
Yep.
And just like it looks in your videos.
Yep. Yeah, I run my channel as I see fit, because, agree or disagree, I don't want people to subscribe based on what I look like.
I'm already prepared for everybody to hate
Yeah.
me, because if my channel goes on for long enough, the whole fucking world's gonna hate me.
Well, you
Because
know
the shit that I'm trying to do does not make you a lot of friends. If anything, it makes enemies.
Yep.
And it just does.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that. You know, when I uploaded my Hyundai Santa Cruz Easter egg, somebody commented on it that day. You know, like, hey, good video, da da da. I'm like, you know, he saw my channel, I subbed his. You know, that gentleman only has like 16 videos, and he's got more subscribers than we do. So he's probably just like, you know, yeah, just leave it alone. You know, people subscribe. You know, so I imagine he probably has, you know, a regular job. You know, but I was just like, you know, we're living in a different world, you know, than we were 20 years ago.
Yeah. I've been just frustrated lately. I ain't even been doing nothing with my channel for the past week or so.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm over here like, yeah, I'm looking for a regular job, you know, because I don't want to fucking sit there and hope that my channel blows up. If it does, great. If not, oh well. But yeah, it's like you send applications, you get fucking sick of staring at a computer. Hell, even a fucking phone.
It makes you fucking loopy.
It does.
These fucking assholes don't understand that. Just like when I went in Krispy Kreme, I ain't had nothing to eat yet, and I drank a bunch of caffeine, and I forced myself to just keep doing applications. And by the time I was finished, man, I wasn't in my own fucking mind. And then I went there to try to talk to them, and they thought I was crazy. I think they thought I was a crackhead or something. But it was really because I expended all of myself with the stress of doing these goddamn applications on a little fucking phone when it was really meant to be done on a real computer.
Yeah.
It's just fucking bullshit.
It really is, you know. You know, the days of fucking, you know, seeing help wanted signs and walking and applying are all but completely gone. I mean, I've seen it at a few places, but you get my point.
Oh, they'll hang a sign, inquire within, and then you go in, but they'll fucking look at you like you're crazy. Like they don't even care that they have the sign.
Oh yeah. Or they say position's been filled.
Yeah. Take your fucking sign down, bitch. I do believe that it's going to take something bad, real bad, to change all of this. And it will happen.
Oh, it will. I mean...
I want to be a part of it.
Me too. I mean, for all we know, I mean, you know, the government could crash because they don't have enough people to, you know, work the
They
job.
running themselves thin. They got wars all over the world. Wars in our own fucking country. Just so much fucking war. They gonna war themselves out. And that's when we gonna take you motherfuckers out, bitch.
Oh yeah. And not to mention fucking...
But we got to have some stronger people, because one or two fucking tough people can't do it themselves. American people are fucking pussies, man. And I kind of touched on this before about these Second Amendment people that think they're supporting a cause because they bought a new fucking gun. You shove it straight up your fucking ass where it belongs, because you ain't about to do shit with it. You don't even have the fucking mind to understand half the shit that's been said just within the last 5-10 minutes.
And keep in mind, an amendment, you know, an amendment can be repealed.
This is why you have to understand, and I kind of feel like the forefathers understood the concept of natural law.
Yep.
That goes above and beyond any government. If you believe in natural law, you do not accept a man as an authority, period. No man has the right or the power to dictate your rights. All they can do is fool you into thinking that they can, and then you submit to it because they fooled you. Don't let them fucking do that to you. It don't matter what state you live in. You still have your rights. All of them, not just the ones they told you that you could have.
Right, yeah, you know, and that's...
Just like if you go here, you can have 10 rounds. If you go there, you can have 30 rounds. Like all of this shit, and it's so confusing. And once you start traveling, you realize how limited your rights truly are. Just like if you own an NFA item, a suppressor, that causes complications traveling.
Yep.
That can cause you so much trouble that you don't even fucking know. You think you're legal because you have it, but once you start traveling, you realize you can't take that with you, or if you do, you could get fucked over really easy and be down the road for a long time.
And that's why I fucking think if you have a license to carry in any state, that should apply.
Yeah. There's no such thing as something that's right in this space and then wrong in that space.
Right.
That is man-made mindfuck.
A driver's license is valid, and that's a fucking privilege. Case in point, you came up here from South Carolina. I moved down here 3 years ago from Massachusetts. I had a Massachusetts license. I got Virginia plates and updated my residence. But the license was still valid for me to get from up north to down here. So it's like, make that shit make sense.
It's all an experiment. It's all little bubbles of human experiments. We already know that they've done all kinds of nasty experiments. There's been times when they sprayed poison in the air just to see what it would do to people. Chemtrails, they still doing it.
Oh yeah,
so they've experimented on us in so many ways. So you have to look at each state as like a lab project, and then within that state, each county, each city is a project within a project.
Oh, yeah.
What they're doing social experiments out the ass all over us.
Oh yeah.
Period.
And the fact that I want to touch base on this. The fact that they make so many regulations on making new vehicles, it drives the cost up.
That's part of the strategy. Just like regulations on housing, building codes.
Yep.
There's structures that's been standing there for goddamn thousands of years before your motherfucking codes, bitch. Nobody needs that. It's obvious that you're doing it for control and for profit. If I have this land and I want to build myself a goddamn sand hut and live in it, none of your motherfucking business. If you don't like it, you have to wait till I fucking die, and then you can have the land and do what the fuck you want with it. But you can't tell me what to do with it when it's still mine.
Yeah.
Period.
Like case in point, they could in theory pass laws to, where if vehicles are older than a certain year, you can't drive them, on a regular basis. And I think that's just fucking bullshit, And all these emissions tests, like, what is that really
What's
fucking
that,
doing?
some Elon shit? He trying to force everybody to have a Tesla?
Yup. I think that's what it is. And I think it goes before Elon and before Teslas.
I don't like that some rich fucking cocksucker like him uses Tesla's name. I don't like that. Tesla wanted us to have free fucking power. That motherfucker's not giving us free shit.
Well, case in point, I briefly had a X account, but in order to really utilize it, you have to fucking pay. I'm like, yeah, fuck you. I'm paying for that shit.
I can't stand that retarded looking motherfucker. And I don't know much about him, but I know he's been around the government, and he's basically mind fucking people to believe in him because he's using Nikola Tesla's name for his product. I resent that strongly. If you want to use Tesla's name, let's follow Tesla's dream and make the fucking world a better place. But if you're not doing that, you have no right to use that fucking name.
And of course, now he left the federal government because he has to try to save Tesla. So he's under the gun too. And that's what happens when you have great wealth comes great risk and responsibility. He could lose it all. And like I said in a few of my other videos regarding the cost of new cars, and many other people do this too. They're fucking overly expensive. Is it really worth spending fucking $60,000 on a fucking F-150? Yeah, fuck you. The days of the bare bones vehicle. Like, case in point, yours. Obviously, some other guy probably put in some aftermarket shit at some point. Am I correct?
I mean, probably.
Yeah,
I've replaced parts before.
Well, yeah, but you just replaced parts. But I'm talking about maybe a stereo might be aftermarket, probably. But again, the cost of a newer version of one of those is going to be dressed up in fucking too much bells and whistles that the average person doesn't really need. You know, in fact, I'd go out on a limb and say neither one of us, because we're just two random dudes, needs all this vehicle. They don't need all that vehicle. You know, my Tracker, I think you've seen that one, right? The little tiny vehicle. Vehicles of that size are really all what most people need. Fucking tiny vehicle. And make it safe. But, you know, too many people, they just want to buy the biggest fucking thing that they can own.
Consumerism.
Yeah, it really is. You know, and I'm sure you've heard the term keep up with the Joneses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, make sure that shit's still recording. Yep, still recording. Alright, good. Yeah, now people can see what I look like. Yay. Fuck it. Like I said, you know, I didn't want people to subscribe just because, you know, to see what I look like. And I'm sure women take full advantage of that too. I bet you.
So you getting some women subscribers?
Well, no. What I'm saying is, you know, people subscribe to a female's channel because of what she looks like.
Yeah. I can believe that.
Yup. I mean,
maybe that's what we both need. We need to find us a woman to just, we'll write everything she says and just let her be the one to fucking say.
Yup. That would help us all grow. But, you know, wait, we can't do that because if we approach one, she'll call us a creep.
Yeah.
And call the cops on us.
Around here, yeah.
Well, anywhere. You know, the only chance you really have of making the first move is on a fucking dating app. You know, where, worst case, they don't respond. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I was walking around downtown and this girl was looking at me. We both looked at each other at the same time.
Yep.
So I kept walking for a minute and I was like, damn, I think she wanted me to talk to her. So I thought about it for a minute and then I went back and that bitch looked at me like I was straight crazy.
Well,
so you can't even go by that shit anymore.
No, you can't. You know, the days of actually...
I think she only smiled at me because she was afraid of me.
And, you know, I think the days of approaching women are gone, you know. And I will say, I know, like, some of those manosphere channels, you know, they think all women are bad, blah, blah, blah. But I think there were a few actual creep guys that fucked it up for the rest of us. And then on top of that, then you have the skittish woman who just likes to fucking call everybody creeps. So it was the actions of a few that fucked it up for everybody else. That's what I think.
It's deeper than that, man. It's mind control.
Yep.
Just like how we was talking about transgenders and shit the other day.
Yep.
I ain't got nothing against nobody.
Oh, me neither.
But this is a fucking movement against humans.
Mm-hmm.
They've confused us. They've turned us against each other.
Yep.
They've made women hate men, and men hate women, and men hate theirself, and women hate theirself.
And that's
like
why,
this is all being socially constructed.
Yep, and I think
this was all a part of the plan.
Yep, and I think because of that, hetero men and hetero women are now probably the fucking laughing stock of the LGBTQ. They probably look at us fucking bickering, not us personally, but, you know, men and women bickering and demanding shit like what they expect from each other, and they're fucking sitting there laughing their asses off. I mean, I know they have their own issues too, you know, and I get it, you know. You know, they're people too, you know. If you get up and you make an honest living, I don't give a fuck who you sleep with or what body parts you remove or add. If you're a productive citizen, I don't give a shit about that. You know, I have a transgender in my own family. That's what he goes by, gets up and goes to work. You know what I'm saying?
Like he looks like a man during the day and dresses like a woman at night?
No. Born female, became trans, and, you know, spent money to, you know, pass as a man. So, you know, so that's to me is kind of the point, you know, of transgenderism is if you identify as this, you want to pass as that in the public eye. You know, and I'd be willing to wager most of the trans women aren't even really trans. You know, the ones that go in the bathrooms, there's probably just some dude that's wearing a fucking wig and a dress. You know, so that's a whole nother fucking thing in of itself. Like, the actual people who are trans spend money to try to pass as what they're trying to be, so they don't sound off alarm bells. And you know, there are a few serious, you know, YouTube vloggers who are trans, and I bet you breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we both walked by at least one trans person and didn't even realize it.
I think if you look at them really close, you can tell. But
Right.
like, if you just like walking along, not looking too hard, then
Right.
yeah, you're probably right.
Well, I'm not going to sit there and fucking try to determine, but, you know, but I'm sure we may have stood behind one getting coffee. Maybe they were getting gas at the car, or they were in the
I know. There ain't no surgery to fix manly shoulders. That's one of the giveaways.
Yeah.
I see.
Well, I mean, both of us, we're skinny guys, so
Yeah, but
as much as I hate
but we
to
still
admit
not exactly shaped like a woman.
it. Right, yeah. But you get my point, you know. You know, it's unlikely, you know, if you're out and about and a serious trans is in front of you, you're going to say, oh, look, it's a trans, you know. Because, you know, they're probably just, for example, getting their coffee. I get my coffee and then I go about my business. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's like everything is like a movement. You know, like case in point, you know, the pandemic, George Floyd, all the riots.
A lot of those riots were staged.
Yep. Well,
I remember. Well, they've done deleted his channel so many times, but during that era, there was a YouTuber called Young Pharaoh. He used to be one of my favorite ones,
yep.
and he was covering all that shit.
Mhm.
And he was showing videos where the cops were destroying their own cars
Yep.
and then blaming the protesters.
Yep.
There was another video where it showed cops handing out bricks to people.
Mhm.
Like there's all kinds of foul shit going on.
Oh yeah. But you know, I think, in all honesty,
Just like this protest in LA right now,
Yep.
like they trying to say every protester's bad.
Mhm.
Trump even said that people can't wear a mask at protests.
Mhm.
Well, that goes along with self-expression. So now you're trying to ban the First Amendment because you're mad about a protest.
mhm.
You cannot tell me I cannot wear a fucking mask if that's how I want to express myself.
And you know, that's the thing. Regardless of whether Trump got in office, whether Harris gets, regardless of who gets in office, one side always wants to silence the other.
But yet they're both taking us to the same place.
Yep.
And that was a part of the plan the whole time.
Well, case in point, the last time we saw the left and the right unite over something was during the CEO shooting in New York. Brian Thompson.
And that's only because all them motherfuckers are CEOs.
Well, yeah. But, you know, the left and the right, basically we're on the same page. Even though I don't think the incident really accomplished anything, but, you know, and Luigi, man, he's still just a suspect.
Yeah.
Alleged.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was like the last time I saw the left and the right, you know, sit there and actually agree on something, that the healthcare system is fucking crooked. I mean, hell, even way before that, I've known people who go on what they call surgery vacations.
What is that?
You know, meaning, hold that thought. You know, meaning, they'll go to a country like Thailand, the Philippines, to get their surgery because it costs much less in those countries. And it's the same quality care.
that?
Well, because a lot of people who are doctors in this country, they probably went to Harvard, Yale, here in the States, and then brought that knowledge back with them to their home country. So, yeah, like if I needed some type of surgery, you look at the cost, an American doctor, well, it's going to be this amount of money.
You're going to be a slave for life.
Yup. And your insurance is not covering the cost. And then you just fucking use the internet, talk to people from some other country. Yeah, I'll go use the dating app, talk to some girl from Thailand or the Philippines, say, how much does it cost over there? And they say, oh, my surgery was like $100. I'm like, fuck, I'm getting a fucking plane ticket and I'm going there, Because with the $1,800 plane ticket, plus like a week stay, that's still gonna be a lot fucking less. Than the fucking $100K that you spend here. And the other topic, which I think is rigged by the system, is the whole student loan thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about that, but if it's a part of the system, then I definitely believe it's something crooked about it.
Yeah. Now, with that said, I'm old school. Yeah, I have student loans myself. I'm old school. I went later in life. I signed the dotted line. It's just like my car note. Any other debt, you sign the note, you're agreeing to pay that money back. But they couldn't have picked a worse time to fucking do it. And I think they want to fucking do this aggressive student loan collection, laying people off of work. You kind of see where I'm going? They want to keep people poor.
I mean, just like how all these people go to fucking college and then wind up in a fucking Domino's or some shit, and that's probably the reason I'm out here fucking struggling. One reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck? You want somebody to go to goddamn college to work in a fast food place? And how backward that shit is.
It is backwards.
They've divided the rich from the poor.
Yep.
They're widening the gap.
Oh, they are.
So now you have to graduate college to make some fucking nasty ass cheeseburger for some greasy motherfucker.
Yeah. And that's and also, in order to really get ahead, you need at least a fucking master's, which is more fucking debt. I mean, hell, sometimes you even need a fucking PhD, and you get a job. Unless you're a doctor, or a lawyer. You get a PhD and you get a job making like $50K, you're still gonna owe like fucking $200K of debt after all those years of schooling. So it's like the cost, the reward is not worth the cost. I stopped at bachelor's level because, again, I looked at it, I didn't want to tinker with people's body parts or anything like that. That's not my cup of tea. So I was like, yeah, the cost just isn't worth the reward. And, unless you get it for free, like you served in the military, then it really overall isn't worth it. And I've actually met people who said that they didn't finish college. They went for a year, and they said it took college for them to realize what they wanted to do. One of them was my old mentor. And he taught karate up until the day he passed. And some other people were plumbers, some were electricians, and so on and so on. They had jobs that paid well that didn't need it, and they just never finished school. That's my thing. Unless it's like certain fields, like science, law, and medical, it's not worth it. Yeah, of course, teaching, because we need teachers, right? But
I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, somebody's got to. that could be a whole nother topic in of itself. Like,
I can make the argument that these teachers are child abusers, even if they're not consciously aware of it, because they're helping a system that was designed to brainwash children. And if they don't know that, why don't they know that? Are they a moron? Have they not done their research on the education system that they want so bad to be a part of?
Yeah. How much
This goes back to the very beginning. I forgot the man's name, but this goes back 100, 200 years. The man that developed our curriculum. He modeled our educational system for children after the Prussian system, because in his own words, they did the best job of brainwashing children. This is nothing new. It's only becoming more extreme because we're too chicken shit to stand up and say, hey, you can't have our fucking children anymore. And I'll go even farther than that. This is one of the reasons that I don't want to have kids. If you're a parent and you're allowing the government to force your kids into a school, you're also a fucking child abuser.
Okay.
And I don't want to be no fucking child abuser.
I don't have kids either, you know, but yeah, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the other factor. Now we got fucking mass shootings in schools. So
Hey, that goes along with what I was just saying.
Exactly.
Hey, I have to give you my kid because you say so, but I might not get them back the same way I sent them.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for the safety and the love.
You know, it's like they should put that in the contract.
Oh, thanks, bitch, for being a teacher so you can teach my kid to read. So he got to read for 3 days before he got his guts blown out. Thanks, bitch.
And, you know, by sending your kid here, you agree that you might not get him or her back. Or if you do, your son might become your daughter. You know,
I mean, everything is simple. We can sum up everything we've ever talked about with one word: slavery.
Yep.
It's fucking slavery. They were getting along just fine without the fucking English language. It's not imperative for life to learn to read and write the English language. Go back thousands of years, motherfuckers was using symbols. Symbolism is good for your brain.
Yep.
That's been long forgotten. And I feel like that's a part of the reason that they push this narrative so hard. Oh, got to read and write. Got to do everything we say, because they're distracting you from all the things that they know and which they don't want you to know.
Yep.
The people that's in charge are masters of symbols. That fucking Walmart symbol
Yep.
is a salute to the sun god.
Yep.
That is a sun symbol.
Yep.
And subconsciously, you think of the sun in a way as though it's life, because without the sun, there's no life. So what they're telling your subconscious mind is without them, there's no you. Okay? Period. Target, the same thing. Target symbol is also a solar symbol. It's not a bullseye, it's a solar symbol.
Yep.
These symbols are ancient. The people in charge, they're masters of psychology and how to use symbolism to affect you subconsciously. They're masters of architecture, geomancy, how to design a building to affect your energy and your mind in the way that they want you to be affected. Why do you think a school does not look like a church? Why do you think a church does not look like McDonald's?
Right, yeah.
They're all designing these things to affect you in a certain way.
Oh, yeah.
And this has been done for thousands of years. Now, a lot of people would call me an extremist, but I'd call them lame in the brain, because these things have so much fucking evidence. I might not have a goddamn picture of these motherfuckers doing the shit that I say they're doing, but I'll hold the principle of, just like in a courtroom, if there's a certain amount of evidence, even if I didn't see you, you're guilty. So we're gonna hold them to their own principle.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the fuck I'm doing. I'm the only one, well, you know, people I've never met before is doing it.
Oh, yeah.
But everybody got to start doing it.
Yeah.
Or stop the whining if you ain't ready to do the shit. Everybody got to get in the game. The game is fighting back. At this point in time, the game is putting out information. And if you're not doing that, enjoy the fucking war that's going to come.
Yeah, and if...
Enjoy this fucking slavery.
Yeah,
that you think is a happy little life. It's not a fucking happy life. You're confined. You're in a self-made prison that you were tricked into making for yourself.
And, you know, the irony of it is, you know, the people who voted for Trump are getting everything they asked for.
I think the people that voted for Trump probably already had everything they wanted, and now they probably just getting even more.
But they're also the same ones that fucking get upset when Trump's policies affect them. And I don't care what anybody says. I think the people who voted for Trump, they just wanted to own the libs.
On the what?
Own the liberals.
I mean, that's what it is. It's like a fucking hometown sports rivalry. It's like this team versus that team, and I'm going to cheer for this team and pretend like they're the truth even if they're lying, and vice versa. It's all just equal to a fucking stupid high school football rivalry.
Yeah.
But these are the motherfuckers that's running the world. They're reducing the value of our life, and we're fucking letting them do it. We have to start being accountable.
Oh, yeah. But like I said earlier, it seems like each side wants to fucking silence the other side, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, conservative or a liberal, and the fact that politics, and this, I think this was set up, that politics was set up to dissolve the nuclear family.
It was.
That's why you're seeing so many.
Because these bitches think the government's their mommy and daddy. That's one reason they're afraid of men, just like you were saying earlier.
Yep.
Because if you're not some kind of narc-ass looking motherfucker, they're afraid of you.
Yep. Or unless
and a lot of men are like that now too.
Yeah. Unless you have fucking 6Ks income and you're 6 foot and all that crap, but that's a whole nother topic in of itself. But you get my point,
But even if you got all that, if you don't look like what they consider desirable, it's still gonna be the same effect. And you might have earned your money through a business, but if they don't like how you look, they gonna think you got your money from doing something bad.
Right.
Because that's all in their mind, and they have no problem with being conditioned that way.
Either that, or they'll fucking all of a sudden want you because you have the money. And
try to get some of it from you, maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. We could be, neither one of us are tall. Neither one of us are fucking the poster child for GQ magazine. You know what I'm saying? But if let's just say we became millionaires overnight because we had some business plan like underpantsforsquirrels.com. You know what I'm saying? All the women who rejected us might be like, your business took off. So, what do you say? Are you free this weekend? And then,
then she's the one asking you, right?
Yup. And then of course, I'm in my late 40s, so I'd probably be like, yeah, I'm gonna pass. And I think even young guys might do the same thing. It's like, okay, I wasn't good enough for you back then because of something physical, like I was too short or whatever. You use that as an example, right? I wasn't good enough for you back then. Why am I good enough for you now? And the other polar opposite is after they get, ran through by all the guys they wanted.
Oh, now it's your turn.
Yup. And then it's like, okay, what makes you want me now? And when they do, they put you through like these tests. They want to take it slow. I've had that happen. This was back in the fucking 90s.
I don't necessarily. I think that's a lie.
Yeah.
If they saying shit like that, they already lying to you.
Yeah. It's like, and again, where I'm
they
old.
Trying to see if they can squeeze something out of you
Yup.
without having to give anything back.
Yup.
Yeah, so it's best to just walk the fuck away from that shit.
Yup. Now, I'm sure there's at least one good woman out there. Just
there's
like
good women and good men, but they come so few and far in between.
Yeah.
There's so much conditioning and mind control, and it takes a fucking strong, dedicated person to snap out of all that shit.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still affected by it in some ways, but that's
I
my
think we
goal.
all are. Yeah.
That's my goal, is to climb out of that and to be able to help other people climb out.
And obviously I'm recently affected too. I mean, if I was You know, if I, you know, got, you know, that contract, I'd be sitting at my desk doing work. You know, but this whole shit's affecting everybody. You know, it's turning men against women, women against men, and trying to eliminate the marginalized community too. You know,
Oh, yeah, get rid of them altogether. And then they'll just find somebody else to marginalize,
Yep.
just like they've always done.
you know,
No, in the beginning it was what, Indians and black people.
Yep.
Now it's our turn.
Yep.
Now they're doing it to us.
Yep.
At the same time, it's still doing it to them,
Yep.
but just now they're doing it to us a lot too.
Yep.
So it's like, what the fuck? They got everybody so confused,
Yeah.
fighting amongst each other.
Yeah.
And that's always been a part of the game, is divide and conquer.
Yep. Because if you know, because if men and women aren't meeting and marrying and reproducing, guess what happens to the population?
There is none. I think that's about what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Let this fucking scum sucking shit die away.
Okay, yeah, I think we could certainly use an overhaul. I mean, but if all this, you know, goes away, you know, then the rich, they're going to lose everything. You know, it's just, you know, they're going to lose everything. They're going to, it'll probably take all that to realize, you know, man, we fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't think most of them motherfuckers would even admit it then. I think they'd feel sorry for themselves and be
Yep.
mad at everybody else.
Yup. You know, and you know, and again, you know, it's definitely fucking. I think life was much more simpler in the '90s, in the '80s. You know, that was my era.
It's on a decline, and it's gonna keep declining.
Yep.
And like whatever has to happen, I just almost wish it would hurry up and fucking happen, because I'm so sick of this shit.
Hmm. That's why. Yeah, that's why.
Like I already feel we already in a civil war. It
Oh,
just
yeah.
ain't
It's not official.
exactly. It's not official, and it ain't got to the point to where there's fucking people shooting at each other all over the place. But it's already like that in some places.
It's getting that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting more and more there.
Right.
We're
It's
already
mostly-
under attack in so many ways.
It's basically become a nation of extremists and terrorists, like mass shooting. Why aren't they charged as terrorists? Make it make sense.
I think they're creating a lot of these situations.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that.
Charles Manson even was in the MK Ultra program.
Yeah.
He was more than likely created by them.
Yep.
And that was what, fucking 50, 60 years ago?
Oh yeah.
So they've been perfecting this all along.
Yeah, yeah.
This MK Ultra shit, where they torture people so much to the point to where it's like it makes their mind disassociate,
Hmm.
and at that point they can be under total control.
Oh yeah. That's why they want.
This is documented shit.
Why do you think they want to put fucking chips in us?
They don't have to, because people are addicted to these.
Yup. And that has its own GPS, so I'm being watched. Even if I fucking forget my phone, I'm
They
being
can
watched.
watch you through this.
Yeah. But in my case, I could leave my phone at home and they could still fucking watch me.
They got those stingrays where they can like be in one of them buildings over there, and they'll know like every single thing that's going on with everybody's phone within a certain circumference.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of like if you remember in Batman,
Yep.
the one with the Joker,
Mm-hmm.
and it was Morgan Freeman that was like, if you want me to use this technology, I'm going to do it this one time, but then we going to have to part ways because it's not right.
Yeah.
Key phrase, it's not right.
Yep.
These motherfuckers ain't trying to part ways. They going head first in deeper, trying to find more fucking ways.
Oh shit. I think well, another example of that would be Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
I don't remember much about that one.
Yeah. You know, or Yeah,
Did
just check it out.
they go back into the past in that one?
all the Terminators, they go to different, you know, different time frames. You know, Terminator 1, well, It was
That's
Terminator
the one I
1.
remember the most.
Yeah, with the young Sarah Connor. And Terminator 2 had the eldest Sarah Connor, you know, and John Connor. And yeah, check it out when you get a chance. It's probably free on YouTube, you know?
Probably.